Unit 10 review, part 6. We're still on writing equations of conic sections, so numbers 14, 15, and 16 should have enough room here to do it. We'll do them below. So number 14, we'll do in green, we have an ellipse with a center at -3, 1. So that's the first thing that we want to notice is that it's an ellipse. It's got a center in h, k. So let me go ahead and write this here. We've got number 14. Okay, number 14 is an ellipse. H, k is -3, 1. Okay, so that takes care of our center. And we have vertices. Okay, so vertices means that we're going to be stretched in whatever direction this is stretched in. So vertices at -1, 1 and -5, 1. Okay, so that means that again it's stretched in the x direction. Okay, so it's definitely stretched with the x being the major axis, excuse me. So we are stretched in the x direction. -3, 1 is our center. And we have vertices at -1, 1 and -5, 1. Okay, and this matches up, so -3, 1 is our center, and it appears that we go either 2 units to the left, so A would be equal to 2. A is 2 units to the left or 2 units to the right. Okay, and then our co-vertices are at -3, 0 and -3, 2. So -3, 0 and -3, 2 means that we are going up away from the center. We are going up or down 1 unit. Okay, so A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 1. Our translated ellipse is in the form x minus h squared. Okay, a little bit of a hiccup there. So x minus h squared. Let's try this again. X minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Okay, we know our h and k are -3 and 1, and we know a is 2 and b is 1. So we just plug everything in. So x minus -3 squared over 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared over 1 squared equals 1. So now it's just a matter of reducing, and this is going to get a little cramped, sorry about that. So x plus 3 squared over 4 plus y minus 1 squared over 1 equals 1. Okay, moving on, number 15. Doing purple right here, this time we have a hyperbola with vertices at -4, 0 and 4, 0 and a foci at -6, 0 and 6, 0. Okay. So I'm going to do a little quick sketch here. So with vertices at -4, 0 and 4, 0, the center must be in between there at the midpoint of those two. And rather than do the midpoint formula, I'm going to use a little logic here. -4, 0 and 4, 0 are both on the x-axis, and they are both equidistant from the origin. So I know that my center, my h, k, is at 0, 0, which is nice because now I can just use the origin form of the equation. I don't have to use the translated form of the equation, which is good. Okay, and then the foci are at -6, 0 and 6, 0. All right. Well, the relationship with foci and a hyperbola, so foci are c units away from the center. So that means that c is equal to 6, and the vertices are a units away from the center, so a is equal to 4, And my relationship between a, b, and c, because I need b here, is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, or if I rewrite that, b squared is equal to a squared, or excuse me, c squared minus a squared. Okay, so that means that b squared is equal to 36, c is 6, so 6 squared is 36, minus 4 squared, which is 16. So that means that b squared is equal to 20. Okay. So because this has a horizontal transverse axis, in other words, the vertices lie on the x-axis, so the vertices are on the x-axis. That means that it has a horizontal transverse axis. In other words, it opens left and right. That means that my x term is positive. So I'm going to use the form of the equation x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. And now that I know that b squared is equal to 20, I already know that a is equal to 4, so it's just a matter of plugging stuff in. Well, if a is 4, then a squared is 16. So x squared over 16 minus y squared over, we already said that b squared was 20, equals 1. And that takes me through number 16, or excuse me, through number 15. So now I'm on to number 16. We have another hyperbola. This one appears that it has been translated. The hyperbola has foci at -2, 2 and 8, -2. So I know that my center must be halfway between the foci, must be the midpoint of the foci. Well, I can already tell that my k is -2 because that doesn't change. Okay, so my k is -2. So it's not, the foci aren't getting any higher than each other. So the foci must be on some kind of a horizontal plane. So again, we're going to be opening in the horizontal direction. So again, my x squared term is going to come first, but I have to figure out where it's been translated to. Well, the midpoint of -2, -2 and 8, -2 must be something, -2, and that something must be the average of -2 and 8, because remember it's x1 plus x2 over 2. So -2 plus 8 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my center, h, k, is at 3, -2. And it says that my asymptote has a slope of 4 over 3. Well, that means that my box, my rectangle that defines the asymptotes, okay, must have, those asymptotes must have a slope of 4 over 3, which means that they go up 4 units from the center and 3 to the right units as well. Okay, which means that the vertical direction is 4 units from the center, and since my, well, let's go with the bottom number, the 3. That's the x direction. So I'm going to go 3 units in the x direction to get to my vertex. So my x direction is 3, which is A, because that's my vertex. My vertex is 3 units away from the center. And then B, the other direction, so in the up-down direction, vertical direction, I'm going to go 4 units away. So that means that B is equal to 4. And so I can verify this if I really wanted to. My foci were at 3, excuse me, my foci are 5 units away from the center because we're at 3, -2, and I go to 8, -2 or -2, -2. So that means that C must have been 5. And if I do a really quick, a squared is 9, b squared is 16, so 9 plus 16 is 25, and c squared would be 25, so a squared plus b squared does equal c squared, so I know I've got all of my units correct there. And this time I'm going to plug into x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Okay, and I have all the information I need. A is 3, so that would be x minus 3 is my h squared over 3 squared, my a, minus y minus negative 2 squared over 4 squared, since b is 4, and then I just go through and simplify. So now I've got x minus 3 squared over 9 minus y plus 2 squared over 16 equals 1. Let's just squeeze that in on the right. Okay? And that'll do it for writing equations of conic sections.